Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here today with one of the Ficus experiments I have going on right now. More specifically, I'm trying to fuse 3 trees together into a clump style bonsai at the moment. I don't want to focus too much on the fusion today because there has not been that much progress now over cold season. We will probably see more now happening with growth season because the tree gets thicker and then you really start to fuse together here. What I actually want to do today is give this a little bit of a prune, work on some of the structural flaws that simply comes naturally when you tie 3 trees together and they then grow or supposed to grow as one tree. And that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to correct some of those flaws, work a little bit on the branches up here, and simply see what we have to do on this tree. And of course, I will talk us through this, just my ideas on why I'm taking out certain parts, why I'm leaving on certain parts. And I hope this is a video that is of interest to you. So to start with, let's take a look around at this tree, and you can see a lot of new growth happening here. It has had new growth all over the cold season, but it is also a little bit laggy. So for example, here, those 3 branches, definitely a little bit laggy. So we're gonna have to take a look at that. And then we have to really go into the branch structure here. We have a lot of different branches. We need maybe to decide which ones we want to keep on in the future, where the tree should focus its energy on and where we do not want the tree to focus this energy on. So definitely some things we have to keep in mind today. And I would say let's start right away by simply picking one part that we want to focus on and start on, and then we work from there. And I think the most sense makes to really focus on the quite easy parts we have to take care of, and that is this very leggy growth up here that I just want to prune back. You can see there's no ramification going on at all, so this is just one long shoot. So we do have to shorten this back anyway because for bonsai it just doesn't fit when we have these long shoots without any ramification happening. And I think if we take it back to this leaf here, it probably will branch out from here nicer again in the future because there is some small branch starting to show here, but hasn't had now the chance yet to really put a lot of energy in there. Hopefully by pruning this back, we will encourage the tree to focus a little bit more energy in here. Then here the question is, do we take this out in total? Because we have 2 branches coming off here. They both don't seem to be that healthy, to be honest. I mean, this one here is okay. I think I'm just shortening it a little bit less for the beginning, and we might come back to this later, but it is not healthy growth in general here that much. So for now, we keep it at that. And we have this longest shoot up here that I also want to shorten to one of the outgoing branches here. So this already shortens it considerably, but as I said, this simply has to be done because a lot of this winter growth was just too laggy, wasn't really working on the design for this tree that we have in mind. We'll also shorten this one here a little bit, just also a little bit of tip pruning here. Hopefully this will also lead to some ramification here in the future. As I look around this tree, we do have a lot of this new growth going on that has not ramified it any way yet, so definitely something to keep an eye on also in the future. Might be a bit of the growth pattern of this tree, and then of course we have to prune a little bit more often simply to encourage this. I see some, it's not dieback, but some very laggy growth in here. We will make our way inside this tree in a bit, but let's go around first and really take out all of these branches that we think we don't really need. And this one here is, I think, the first real structural problem we also have on this tree because it is crossing with a lot of the growth behind it. So I will take this out completely because it simply is in the way of this tree. Let's make sure we get a flush cut here. It opens up this tree right away. It shows the branch structure here on this middle branch better. We still have other branches coming off of here, but it simply opens up all of this here a little bit more, which is definitely a good thing. Let me look around this tree again, because of course we also have to see which we rather consider as the front. I wouldn't consider this as the front. I find it a little bit too cluttered for that. So I'd rather see this as the front. It's a little bit more inviting, especially now that it's open here again. And with that in mind, we also have to focus a little bit here still on taking out some growth maybe. Here this is growing not too bad. I would leave this on because it's quite thin still. It hasn't really become woody. so no sense in cutting this back if it has not developed enough yet. Here on the other hand, we can go back to a woody part and this way hopefully get some more ramification going as well. Then up here, yeah, I will also shorten this simply a little bit now for the summer growth to just take in and really take off then. And here we have two very leggy growth points here in the back. And this one is very leggy in general, so we don't have any growth all the way up here. And the question is, do we need that? Does it really help this tree in its look? And I don't think so. So we take this out. It might make the tree a little bit bare for 1 or 2 months, but this growth will come back quite easily again and fill in all the parts that maybe then look a little bit bare for a bit. Also here, for example, this is quite leggy growth. We can shorten this. We do have another branch coming off from here that probably, if we focus the energy on that one, will benefit more from it. So this was the really rough going through this tree, taking off the branches that are definitely in the way or simply not fitting as well. And now we go a little bit more into the branch structure here and look at the ramification going on. Do we need to take out certain faults at the moment? Do we see problems that arise maybe in the future that we can already now take a little bit of precautions against? And what I do see right away is this middle branch here. Even when I repotted it into this pot together with the other branches, I was not fully happy with it because we have this, it's a trifurcation actually if we think about it. So we have 3 branches that are very close to each other. We have this one main branch that doesn't do much, to be honest. It is quite straight up here. It does have taper that's not too bad, I must say, but other than that it doesn't really bend in any way or has no movement. Then we have the one in the back that is a little bit thinner, definitely a little bit less developed, doesn't have that much ramification, but has more interesting movement, to be honest. So this could in the future become a quite interesting part. And we have this little side branch here that comes from a little bit lower from the trunk and has some promising ramification going on right here, right up here. And to be honest, for a middle branch, it's not the best choice. Looking back at it, probably this one would have fit better as a middle branch because the ramification going up on here simply looks more mature already, so we could have probably saved some time with that. And now the question is, do we take out one of these branches completely? And I think we probably have to, because they simply are too close together also from where they come out at the branch. So in the future we will have probably also a problem here with inverse taper, where this part just gets thicker than the overall base of the trunk. That is something we really need to avoid on this tree. But the question is, which branch do we keep and which one do we take out? Because we have this main branch here that has at the moment quite a big impact on this tree because it carries so much of the foliage up here. You can see a lot of actually quite healthy looking foliage, whereas the one in the back here, we can see it from the back here better, is not as healthy, is a little bit laggy. But this could also be because the tree doesn't put too much focus on the energy on it at the moment, and by taking out the other branch this could benefit this tree tremendously. So I think this is actually what we will have to do. We have this little branch here anyway on the side that does fill in this area here quite nicely. By taking out this part, it will be bare for a while, but in the end this tree will benefit from it because it will look more mature, it will not develop inverse taper from that point, and this way it simply fits better to the overall design. So I will take out this branch. As I said, it is simply the best decision at the moment. So I'm trying to make this as flush as possible. We might go in with the concave cutter later, but I don't think for now we need it. I think I'd rather let it callus over a little bit, and then at a later point we go in with the concave cutter. Of course, this could make a nice propagation. It's quite thick already, so definitely a size that normally you can take propagations from. So this will probably develop now a little bit more in this direction anyway. For now, of course, it is quite bare, but this will fill out this area again. And I think we can encourage this a little bit by pruning it back to close areas on the branch just to encourage also some new growth coming from really lower down on the branch, because right now it is a little bit laggy. But I do see potential here also when we look at the ramification that this can develop in a nice way and also fill in this area again quite nicely here. With, in addition, of course, here growth that could help simply fill this in a little bit as well. So we will encourage this one to grow a little bit also in this direction, filling it in, and here in the back then filling in the rest. But I think it is needed at the moment to really develop this in the future in a tree that simply looks nicer, even though right now, of course, it is a little bit bare then. So let's move on to two of those side trees. We have this little side tree here that is more leaning, I would say, that is also part of the design. What I do have to say is that I don't like that it's leaning so much backwards, so I want to bring this a little bit in the front. Luckily we already have some wire on here. This of course could mean that it gets a little bit too close to the branch on top, but I think this is still working. However, I would also take out some of these branches here probably. I do like the ramification on all three of them, except here the growth is not too healthy. You can actually see it has died back a little bit, so I can take out the tip here. But I wouldn't go too hard on this part here, to be honest. Even from this side now, we can in the future maybe even make this the front of the tree, have this a little bit of leaning more, also then bringing this one a little bit in front. Here we still have a long shoot that we didn't see before. And then this way it could also work from this perspective as the front in the future, but we will see that. Here we do get a little bit cluttered, I have to say, in this branch, and I think we have some died back branching here that we should take out. So just cleaning up a little bit, always good to do this before growth season starts. Do we have any parallel growth here? Yes, we do a little bit in here. So we have this lower branch and this branch here, but this with a little bit of wiring we can correct in the future. So nothing to prune right away. Here we do have two branches that come a little bit too close together, so I think I want to take out this branch here just to open up this part also a little bit. But other than that, I think I'm quite happy with the branching at the moment. This one here. In the future, we might also take it away if we see further growth along the taller parts here of the tree, but for now, I would leave it on. So what I would say is now the bigger part that we have to do in the next couple of months on this tree. See how this branch develops here on the main tree in the middle. How it fills in this area again. We might have to shorten it a little bit then from time to time, simply making sure the growth stays dense and develops nicely here in this area, but I think we can do that. Other than that, for now, I think we have cleaned it up a little bit more. It is definitely a little bit less cluttered, because as I said, when you put three trees together in one pot, it simply becomes a little bit too narrow for all three trees to thrive the way you put it in the beginning. So that is something we start to correct now a little bit, continue working on it, and I think then this will turn out to be a nice little tree in the future. Hopefully we'll also see some more fusion work going on then after growth season. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. If you enjoyed this video and this little tree, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions about it or want to give input on how you would develop this tree any further, leave them in the comments. And if you enjoy my channel, feel free to subscribe to it, and hopefully I will see you in the next video then. Until then, take care.